Hello. So I will share with you this first of all where I am, and then we'll get into the reading. So I've written about the change that I desire and my big bold vision, and this is what this reading will be centered around. That's why I want to share it. So the change I desire is available to me through my every choice. It ripples from every step I make in the direction of that change. It is nurtured by my words, thoughts, and actions. The ultimate change I desire. I want to dance and play with people who love me and that I love. I want to have healthy relationships. I want to sing with people. Healing relationships, growing and integrating together. Maybe I'll just share my big bold vision. Well, now we're here. To live in a world where we remember that play, that we are free to create a life with this planet where we are happy and healthy, that we can change what has been, all that has caused suffering, into embodied lessons and wisdom. For people to live as a connected species, for us to develop systems that meet our needs, that we care for one another, for no one to feel isolated or lonely or left behind. A world where we play in a way that is caretaking of ourselves and our home, the earth. A world where we have self-unity, a united and harmonious community of individuals. A world where we are both safe and free to be who we are, as we are. So in this practice of embodying love and truth, of uniting with ourselves and each other, coming home, as a play and way to grow our roots deeper into the soil of this vision and reach further towards the sun of this vision, to feel the nurturing water and the spacious air, all the four elements, as well as the spirit, the remembrance, the ether, all these five elements coalescing, coming together, happy for this remembrance and to be a part of the co-creation of this change, of this Alright, so I feel like doing a reading with this, just playing with it. And the first deck that I really want to get into is this beautiful one, the Weaver's Oracle. And they're journey cards and travel guide created from paintings and mythic tales by Carolyn Hillier. And it's a beautiful deck. This is the one that has been with me most recently. I didn't fully read So what I read was just wow. To understand beginnings, we must know endings. To know mending, we must know breaking. The bright drum will not sound complete unless the dark drum has played out its turn. That's all we need to know when we come to that is all we need to know when we come to the morning fires. That might be the card that we get. I just want to get the card that, and the weaver who right now, where I am, and those who connect and relate with this video are, and the weaver that is in support of where we are currently on this journey of embodying love and truth and co-creating the world that our bodies ache for, yearn for, that our minds spin for, that our hearts beat for, that connects us with that united heartbeat. That place where all of us are welcome home, where all of us are connected, where all of us are welcome as we are. I'm just feeling into that love. You can take some deep breaths, just soaking in it, inhaling this love. This remembrance. Alright, let's see, I'm very excited. Look what we got! Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up, and don't you know, pump it up. Oh my god. Okay, so we got the Ochre 35. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but the Udigan of the Spirit Spindle. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. Look at that. Would you look at that? Alright. I feel like I can't read fully from the book because of, like, is it allowed, you know? I don't know if it's allowed. Okay, let's see. Alright, the messages of this come through me. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put this back. Let's see what was at the bottom. Ooh, the owl, ancestor of the cold earth home. But I feel like strongly like it's not the message for now. Oh, my nose got so itchy. Okay, so this is so exciting. Let's see. There we are. So number 35, there are some things like 3 key totems and symbols for each weaver's yarn. Together they form a harvest of women's magical craft and an inspiration perhaps for traveling women's wise and creative hands. So let's see, number 35 has red ochre, which I don't know what that is actually, I'll need to look it up, and breaking drum and spirit spindle. Let's see, red ochre, what is that? And also, if I'm saying it wrong, then yeah, I was going to apologize, but I'm like, Is it really that big of a deal? It's a natural clay earth pigment, a mixture of ferric oxide and clay and sand. It ranges in color from yellow to deep orange or brown. It's also the name of the colors produced by this pigment, especially a light brownish yellow. Wow. I see it as red, which is interesting, which reminds me of this painting that I've been working on. So look at that. There's also that, like the hair that, like, I think in Namibia is it? Red ochre has been used as a coloring agent in Africa for over 200,000 years. Women of the Himba ethnic group in Namibia use a mix of ochre and animal fat for body decoration to achieve a reddish skin color. The ochre mixture is also applied to their hair after braiding. But what other reasons are you are the reason I wake up every day and sleep through the night. You are the reason. It's so cool because I've also I went to a Teal Swan workshop this week, which was so powerful and challenging, but also so revealing and needed, and I'm so grateful I went, for sure. And she gave us this ancestral healing course. And one of my big questions was like how to heal my womb, and I feel like that's a big part of it, this ancestral healing. I say that because of this red ochre symbolizing or being something that has been used for over 200,000 years, like connecting with the ancestors. Also, I have roots in Africa, so also that is connecting with Africa through Namibia feels really good too. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to read it, okay? Also, I just want to say that she is from the Bone Clan and the North Weavers. So the Bone Clan, these are the women, The women in this clan are hewn from ancient ice. There's so many words in this that I don't know. So what does hewn mean? Hewn. Chop or cut. Okay. Oof. From ancient ice. Okay. Their old name Udugan is rooted in Arctic landscapes and means grandmother, elder, healer, wise woman, or witch. It describes women whose shamanism lies in the strengthening of hearth fire wisdom. Okay. The Udugans represent a women's mystery tradition that reaches back 25,000 years into the heart of the last ice age, a living mythology that protects the most ancient forms of magic ever to have been called out by women from the belly of the frozen north. Through all this time, the Udugans have kept the embers glowing of a spiritual culture that is still buried far inside the old bones of the land. They also dwell inside our own bones. We often discover that the memory of them has never entirely dissolved. Oh my gosh. Encounters with these Bone Clan women require journeys onto ancient ice, traveling even further north in order to travel ever deeper into time. Only in sub-zero temperatures, amid falling snow, and with a landscape of frozen lakes laid out in all directions, could I hope to touch the spirits of these women and carry their cold stories back to stir into the paint. Those journeys on ice with the Oudegans reshaped my soul. Each weaver is a custodian of a skin drum, deer, horse, elk, reindeer, salmon, that I made and used to record her song. This clan is formed from a cycle of paintings called the Northern Sisterhood of Drums. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, so we started off talking about the drum, right? Did I say the drum in this one? The collective heartbeat, and connecting with that collective heartbeat, like the vision of what we want to create, the world that our heart remembers and knows is possible, the world that our bodies ache and yearn for, the world that our mind spins for, spirit spindle. Okay, it's just magical. I just love it because it's just so good. Okay. And then, do we read about the North Weavers? So then, yeah, just feels powerful to connect with that. At some point, drumming was actually made illegal by those who have been in this separation mindset and desire to create some sense of safety or comfort with themselves through separating and objectifying or creating pain towards others as a way to like create non-pain within themselves. But then, yeah, obviously what you create you get more of, really. But then if your focus is on, oh, it's them, then you're gonna keep attacking them because you think they're the reason for your pain. All right, North Weavers. So yeah, just remembering this collective heartbeat, just tuning into that collective heartbeat and that circle of beings who remember and who are calling in, walking, weaving, singing and dancing the co-creation of a world that rooms all of us, of a world where we remember the play, where we remember that Earth is our home, where we are united with ourselves harmoniously and with each other. All right, so she's also from the tribe of North Weavers, our ochre. The North Weavers share the dark and wintry elements of old ice, long nights, cold secrets, small light, hidden nature, black earth, unseen moons, hard land, thresholds out of things, death, funerary ritual, transformation, silence, the empty void, cave journeys, spirit flight, ancestor souls, grave hag, blood on snow, hunter's knife, crony spells, the energy of midwinter, and the returning light festival. I also come from Norway, so I was also speaking to that ancestry with all this ice and snow and coldness. When we are walking in oracle lands, a weaver's shuttle held in our hands, we yearn for the yarn and we follow the braid. We search for the truth in the cloth as it's made, where the wild of the earth meets the wise of the loom, where the wild meets the wise in our dreams. Go well on your journey inside the weaver's oracle. May you travel deep and return strong. So beautiful. All right, so we're gonna go into the ochre. I'm gonna read it. She's the Oudeghan of the spirit spindle, and she honors the wrapping of bark. Speaks to me of skin, the skin around the trees. These magnificent creatures. They're so powerful, like Have you ever just looked at a tree and just looked like, especially if you find a big one, chunky one, it's just like, what a creation. And then all that emerges from this, like all of that emerges from a tiny seed, you know? And then grows into this massive thing with all these pathways of branches and twigs from big to small, and all these leaves that come and fall and emerge again and fall again. It's just beautiful. Looking outside at the trees. Actually, let me show you. It's fall here in Norway. So I want to show you the... Look at that. It is gorgeous. So, let's get to know the ochre. Her yarn. The Urgan arrived to the mourning place and sought out the women who were already tending the dead. They were collected together at some distance from the tents, sitting on blankets beneath the pines, their tools and totems set out beside them on the hard-packed snow. Some women wept quietly, but most were waiting in watchful silence. The beloved was also laid out upon the cold ground. The Urgan folded her old legs into a squat, pulled an antler from her satchel, and began to work. Satchel? She leaned across the beloved, slowly moving the antler over the dead body, using it as a spindle, loosening, winding, scooping up the subtle strands of spirit that still hung about, releasing the beloved soul from those remains. She coiled the strands onto the spindle and then, abruptly rising to her feet, she cast them far across the evening sky, where they drifted and shimmered in brilliant curves of light. Now the beloved was ready to receive the grave rites. The women had melted blue water from ancient glacial ice to wash her pale skin while they sang. This is to remind you that this land will not forget you. They painted sacred red paste onto her limbs and belly, marking symbols around her breasts and eyes, for she had been born from both earth and mother's blood, and they sang, "This is to remind you that your people will not forget you." They piled fragrant pine needles all about her head and feet, nestling her into a bed of wild forest. Then they sang, "This is to remind you that the wind will not forget you." They bound softened reindeer hide around her body and crooned gently into her ears. "This is to remind you the wild herds will not forget you." They carefully wrapped her inside strips of birch bark, and they still sang as their needles sewed it close around her. "This is to remind you that your sisters will not forget you." At last, the beloved was prepared for her journey to the silent lands. The Urgan summoned the people. Together they carried the birch bark bundle, with the beloved nested tenderly inside, while the women sang dark lullabies and the Urgan beat upon the breaking drum. They took her to a tall tree that grew deep inside the keening forest. Some of them climbed the great tree, carefully hoisting her body high into the boughs, lashing her to a broad branch, leaving her to gently sway among the fragments and traces of others who had traveled on that way. Soon the beloved would be cradled in the arms of her dead mothers, for even now they were arriving through the forest to welcome her home. The Udigan began to lay a fire close by so that after their long journey those ancient mothers might sit a while and warm their souls. Her braid. Ritual red ochre. Powder is a symbol of blood, blood of earth and mother, blood of labor and life, blood of wounds and death. First blood, last blood. All this blood, given and taken, dripped and poured, mingled and absorbed, becomes the spirit of the precious ochre paste. Red ochre is painted onto skin or rune or landscape to mark profound traditions and to signify that life will once again be summoned out of death. Life within death is also honored by the breaking drum, a death drum that is generally small and dark, rarely made and secretly painted. Secretly played, not painted. It might be formed from oily horse skin stretched over a battered wooden rim. The face of the breaking drum is always less important than the heavy pieces of black iron, bone shards, and obsidian blades that hang beneath it. Their harsh clatter and jangle cut straight through to the marrow, shaking things free, cutting souls loose, disintegrating the world. Then the spirit spindle may be used to complete the task. An antler from forest deer or tundra herd is rolled around the strands of the departing soul. This collecting of spirit threads onto the spindle is done very slowly and with great care. The casting up requires a strong, fast-flicking action in the wrist so the spindle may add its cargo to the electric magnificence of spirits pulsing high across the night sky. Her cloth. To understand beginnings, we must know endings. To know mending, we must know breaking. The bright drum will not sound complete unless the dark drum has played out its turn. That is all we need to know when we come to the morning fires. More than that would be impossible for us to grasp while we are busy sieving spirits from our dead and setting them to fly. This ended, broken world can be strange for us in unexpected ways. The tiny details that sparkle through the morning ground are extraordinary. How those little gestures of love scatter such vitality around the place. And as with arboreal lights, they almost ring out like thin bells. We cannot be comforted and impressed by such resistance to the dense labors of death. The wrapping is important too. The very act of winding, strapping, folding, tucking our dear dead into bark or shroud or blanket will shift lament into lullaby and coffin into nest. It is consoling to us and cozy for them, for we should not imagine that the dead do not take notice of the cold. Wow. Our ancient people dwell far inside the shadows of the silent lands, and there they linger. Our ancient people dwell far inside the shadows of the silent lands, and there they linger. Long lost perhaps, until we have cause to light flames that will draw them back from cold, forgetting darkness into the warmth of human memory. Hidden old ones, we will sing, come to our fire. Let us warm you. Way out along the ancestor trails, shadows will stir as those lost ones. Hidden old ones, we will sing, come to our fire, let us warm you. Way out along the ancestor trails, shadows will stir as those lost old ones turn towards the warm edges of our welcoming fires. Around the fires, our honored dead will come at last to sit beside the living. So sing out and stoke the flames high, sisters. One day we will become those old dead mothers. We will be glad to be remembered and to warm our souls by human fires. Hey. I love how this speaks to it feels like a response almost from the other side of what like I felt this caretaking of the dying, the dead, as the new is birthed. As we imagine, as we take the steps in the direction of the change that we desire and are birthing forth, to also caretake that which dies in that process. There's this gratitude even in that it's all had its place. It all has its place in this play of life. She often has painted things from what she speaks of, and I can see the antler. I was trying to find the drum, but I can't see it there. Which kind of reminds me also of this united heartbeat connection that is not always something that is seen. That space where we're all connected. Well, is it a place that is seen? It's like what was said, these sparkles. The tiny details that sparkle through the morning ground. are extraordinary, how those little gestures of love scatter such vitality around the place. Okay. I am so hungry. I really need to eat. But these apples, just like they have this film around them, like some kind of wax. And I've washed them with baking soda and vinegar, and it's still there. And I'm like, why? And I've been using clay recently to wash. I think I'll keep that up. Maybe incorporate, I don't know if I can find red ochre. Was it from a tree, did it say? No, it's a clay, yeah. Okay. Do I eat first? I really want to eat, but I also really want to pull another card. I think maybe, let's see. I leave this here for now. If I likely want to share, so I'll leave this for now and then come back, I think.